The use of the public health messages talk about keeping your hand hygiene going, using face coverings, as well as social distancing. And there's been a lot in the media about where you should use face covering or not. To minimize the feeling of restriction, the national steer has been to be specific about where people can use face coverings. So in enclosed settings, they work more efficiently in preventing the spread of the virus. However, if we are in groups, so you can't avoid being in some sort of group area when you're attending school gates. So what we are advising people to do is to not just social distance, but also by wearing face covering if you're coughing or you're talking across with somebody else, because it's very difficult not to talk to people that then actually you reduce the risk of any transmission that could happen on the school gate. So our main challenge in Southend are among people in the younger age groups. So realistically, those aged between 16 and 22. The data is showing that these age groups have had the highest rate and consistently for the last 3 to 4 weeks in Southend. So it's really, really important that our younger citizens do help us in thinking about their own ability and behaviors in contributing to keeping the virus spreading and transmission at a much lower level. So again, avoid meeting in groups, and where possible, please use face coverings if you're meeting with your friends, and make it just a habit. I mean, it is important. If we can get into those easy habits, it will be very useful in being able to sustain this throughout the winter. Because at the end of the day, if we can bring the virus transmission down, without your support, we're not going to be able to do that. Before the announcement of these new restrictions from today, to consider moving onto the higher alert level, which means we'll have to bring in more restrictions. Restrictions we don't need to bring in if we actually follow the rules, and we all work together to minimize the risk, because it has a huge implication on us and our ability to enjoy what we like doing. For example, going to a restaurant as such, and seeing your friends and seeing your families. So we want to avoid having to move into a higher tier alert. So we are very keen that we all work together to make sure that we don't need to do that. So I'm hoping that everyone is going to listen and follow the rules during the lockdown period, and we will come out the other end in a much better place than we already are.